Customs, this is Michael. It's a wonderful Carolina day today. A little cooler, still warm for me because you know, anything over 65 is warm to me. So I'm back on the 50 today, and I should be over here working on the right side of the car, but I cannot make myself work on it today. Here, let me turn this fan on. And I'll turn the compressor off too, because I think it's going to come on. I got a leak in my line that I got to fix. So what I am doing is pulling the rear end out of the car, and I'm going to get ready to stick the 8.8 in place of the factory rear end. And I went ahead and grabbed my impact wrench. I still got to find my impact wrench for the shop. Should have another one somewhere, and I can't seem to put my hands on it except for when I go to looking for it. Hang on. Okay guys, I'm down here with it, and we got some light on the situation. So what I've got to do is I've got to take the emergency brake cable out. It looks like it runs through that and is looped, but I think it's got some places it can slide out of those mounts. I want to leave the mounts for now. I know I'm not going to be able to use them, but I'm going to leave them for right now. I'm going to get the shocks off of the car. First thing I'm going to do is unbolt the leaf springs from the rear end. You know what I may do? I may pull it all out as one assembly. I think I can get it all out as one assembly fairly easy. I don't know. I throw some jack stands back under it to hold it up. So that's what I'll do. I'll throw some jack stands so that the rear end don't tip around. There's a bolt here, and there's these ugly Jeep hangers that somebody put under here so they could put them wide 60 series tires under here when they mangled up the fenders. And that's it. So we'll take these bolts out, the hanger bolts out. This bracket's going to have to get cut off. I've already measured from where the bottom of the axle was 21.5 from the floor. It's 20 1/4. When it's 20 1/2, it's 20 1/4 to that point right there. I marked it on both sides. I found the center. What you would do if you were 4-linking this or 3-linking this or 2-linking this and using the factory rear end is you would get the rear end approximately where you wanted it, weld it into place, take the springs out, and then attach the link bars where you can kind of keep your rear end geometry in place. But since we're using a different rear end in this thing, we're going to have to do it kind of the hard way and measure and you know, line stuff up, cycle the suspension, see how it works, yada yada yada. Anyway, I'm going to turn the compressor back on. I'm going to turn the fan back on, and I'm going to plug y'all back in so we can get some more juice in this battery. And I'll probably go ahead and pull the gas tank out too and get it out of the way. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright guys, that went a whole lot easier than I expected. I'm going to go ahead and get the 8.8 under the car and on jack stands. Most everything came out alright except for that one bolt. And the way these are made, I got it out of one side and was able to tip it and slide it out of the other side. Alright guys, I don't remember exactly where I was at, but I I'm ready to go in with the new axle under the car. I'm going to get it in place under the car, kind of situated. I'm probably going to have to get a couple of concrete blocks because when the other axle was under the car, the concrete blocks were actually sitting underneath the leaf springs plus a 3-inch block. So this axle is going to have to be, you know, and these jack stands right here don't go that high, and I don't think I have another tall set in here. So I'm gonna get this back under the car. That's probably as far as I'm gonna go on tonight. Tomorrow night I want to get out here and start mocking up how the suspension is going to be set up, and through the miracle of video editing, that's going to be right now. Hey guys, last night before I went in the house, I got the rear end of the car. Never mind that place where it took a nasty spill off of the end of the jack when I was trying to put it in the car. I need to run out and get some. I'm going to get some concrete blocks to get the rear end up just a little higher for setting up. I just wanted to show y'all something. If y'all need to move a rear end really easy, I'm going to carry this around to the other side of the property, or I may just put it outside the shop right now. But if you throw it on a hand truck like this and just pick it up, you can take it anywhere you want to. Because of the way it's shaped, it just kind of sits there and balances. So, I mean, you may have it fall once or twice, but you know, that's just a little tip. Helps out moving stuff like that around. But anyway, let me go grab some concrete blocks, and I'm going to try to get this rear end a little higher and see how far we can get tonight. Alright guys, I don't think I'm going to have opportunity to work on this again this week, but I have a couple of thought processes here. I did see a car that was set up with the suspension. Let's see, which side of my head? I hit the panel box while ago, right there. Anyway, sorry about the blood. So I see a couple of things here. I'll show you what I got in my brain right now. It looks like I've just kind of got it mocked into place. It's got to come up. I want it to be, the bottom of the mount has to be level with this. But the only problem with that is I was planning on just raising the floor, but the seat bolt's right here, and that's going to raise the floor where the seat is. I mean, unless I cut this off, which is a thought. I could reshape that, but I'm going to have to reshape it one way or the other. If I don't cut it off, I'm going to have to split it in half and drop it down enough, because it's actually, the chassis is only, I think, 5 inches, and that's 6 or 7 or something like that. So it's a little, about 2 inches taller than the chassis. Another thing that I'm running into, the chassis, I'm going to have to probably get funky with the C-notch. Hang on a minute, let me get on the floor. Alright, I'm back down here now. I'm going to have to go ahead and take this out. Let's see. I've got the axle fairly well centered. I don't know if you can see my mark is right there. It could come back maybe a half an inch. That'll give us a little more room up front. So, got a lot more setting up to do. I got to cut this out. There is a frame, a bracket. I don't know if you can see how close this is running to that frame. I knew that was going to have to be cut, but I'm going to go ahead and have to brace across the chassis so the chassis doesn't move, and go ahead and notch that out. What I had hoped with these trailing arms was at ride height to get a little bit of upward, angle, and that's the point of those adjustable bracket up there for the trailing arms, is so that you can set the I can't think of what the term is right this second, but it has to do with instant center and all that. On the truck, on a stock truck, this angle runs slightly parallel, and if we brought it up to, you know, where the bottom of the cross member was at the bottom of the frame, I feel like it would be fairly close to parallel. So anyway, I'm just going to do this like part one. We'll probably get more heavily into the fabrication. Like I said, I need to get under here and go ahead and get these fuel lines out, these brake lines out, cut these brackets off that's got to go. I didn't want to cut them off right away, but well, you know, to move forward sometimes you got to go ahead and go in that destruction mode. I don't want to go and get the gas tank out. I think it's either full of fuel or something. It sounds solid. So it has a pickup at the very bottom. It also has a drain on it, so I'm gonna get a couple 5-gallon buckets and drain whatever's in it out so it'll be out of the way. It looks like if the rear end comes back another inch, I'm just gonna put it, we're probably gonna have to totally reshape the boot by the time, I don't know how far. I have seen a car lay completely out, and I think all they did was put a C notch in, a half notch in it or whatever, but I think that I'm going to have to, you know, do something with the frame so it'll clear the brake calipers and the hoses and stuff. Anyway, we're going to get into that later on, and like I said, tomorrow night we're going to be, it's going to be Friday night in the shop. You'll see that video before you see this one. So we'll be over at Glenn's house, working on the mini truck, and hopefully sometime next week I'll be back on the car. I got some plans for the weekend, so if they fall through, then I'll be out here working some this weekend. Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting this here done. I want to get my engine bolted to the transmission, so y'all look forward to that. Building an adapter plate to bolt an 8BA flathead to a M5 ODR2, which is the Mazda, or the 5-speed that was in the F-150 trucks in the late 80s, early 90s. And it basically has the same bolt pattern as a small block Windsor. So, I mean, technically there's already a adapter to adapt a 8BA to a AOD, so but they don't sell just the spacer by itself, so you know, you have to buy the whole kit with the flywheel and everything, and I've got to work out a bunch of ins and outs. I'll tell y'all how I'm going to use a 300 6-cylinder flywheel behind the 8BA, and all the clutch stuff from the flywheel to the transmission is going to be basically, you know, 89 F-150 parts. So anyway, we'll get into that later on. I appreciate y'all watching, and like and subscribe, and everybody have a great weekend.